Just did the upper canyons to McCune Trail Lollipop FKT. I just crushed the current record. It was like 56 minutes, like 40 or 50 seconds, and I was 51 minutes and 27 seconds. So I was like 5 minutes, I would say good 5 minutes under the current FKT record. I was actually shooting for 55 on my Pace Pro for Garmin. That's what I was shooting for, because I figured I'd give myself like a minute and a half, 2 minutes cushion. So if I could do anything under that, it'd be a bonus. But freaking crushed it, man. By 5 minutes, not that minute and a half, 2 minutes that I was shooting for. And I definitely left about 3 to 5 minutes out there. I didn't know the course at all. Never been on these trails, so you're gonna hear me say that at Ohio Powell. I just stick to the main ones. So I didn't know what to expect, and the turns and shit like that. So I was basically relying on my Garmin only. And on the way down, even though it was 53-ish on the way down in some spots, but when I got here it was like high 40s, like 47, 48. So I had to put a long sleeve shirt on. I put a gaiter on. I took my Blegmints just to be safe, because I could see on the way down in some of the canyons and stuff, the sun didn't hit as much. So the trail and just the hillsides weren't dry where some were. You'll see it in some of the clips that I took. You'll see like I was running through snow-covered trail, like some slush and mush. I wouldn't say it was ice, but it was definitely slushy, so your feet weren't really getting a good traction grip underneath them. Then there was like a couple miles it was just wet. Like the first and last mile was pretty much just wet, still rocky, but not hard dry stuff where you could just like blast your way through it. So there's definitely a few minutes out there that I could do it again if I know the trail and be a little more familiar with it in general. There's a couple like turns and stuff that you really have to watch. Like you do like hairpin turns, like the FKT does say. But there is some nice longer stretches where you can just turn and burn, like double wide track, or like part of the road where I think it's the McCune Trail parking lot or something like that. You could really turn it on a little bit. But that hill right after the McCune, whatever it's called, parking lot is a little bit of a killer where it's at. Not that it's technical or too steep, but it's like 300 feet of gain or so. And I was red hot at that point, so I was burning up a little bit. I did walk a few seconds. I would say less than 10. Maybe like once or twice, just to recover a little bit so I didn't blow up. Because again, I didn't know the trail, so I didn't want to redline the whole time and not be able to finish the FKT, which it's only like a 10K. But still, if you're redlining, you don't want to redline and blow up or go so fast where you miss something and you end up tripping, catching a rock or root. So you have to play that game a little bit. Then it did get a little bit rocky, and like the snow covered in slush did slow me down, probably that mile 3 to 5 range. There was a family on the trail, but I blew by right past them, but that was in like one of the rockier sections, so I didn't get slowed down at all. Because I was already going slow. But it was kind of hard navigation wise. When I say that, like my watch was telling me where to go and stuff like that, but it kept switching when I was hitting elevation and stuff like that. After a while I just go to like the distance that instead of navigation, it didn't stay on that screen. So I had to toggle back and forth a couple times, like when I looked down to make sure there wasn't a turn coming up, like I had to piss with it a little bit. So that did cost me some, but some of those turns you really had to pay attention to, because they did go like out and it was just like back and then like zig. Then around mile 5 I was making a clip on the like the double track coming down right before the loop actually like meets together. You're supposed to go like this way, and I was heading like I guess more straight. So I got lost there for 20-30 seconds maybe, if that. I'm looking at my watch, I'm like, shit, which way to go? Like, because the arrows, as I'm stopping, it's like moving around a little bit. As I'm turning directions, it's moving. So I figured I had to backtrack a little bit because I missed the right-hand turn. Trying to think how to say this. Like, as the loop goes around, there's like a point to it. And I was more doing, if I stayed straight, I would have done more like a curved loop instead of like a point. So I did lose some time there, but not that's a big deal because I still beat the FKT by like 5 minutes. But again, it's one of those things, there's really no marker there to say, hey, turn here. You have to pay attention on your watch to know there's like that little hairpin turn, or you have to know that it's there just from experience, or else you're just going to blow right by it on that like the double track that you're running. Like, I think it's downhill at that point. So it's very easily the thing to miss. So you really do have to pay attention about that 1.5 range. I would say it's more 5.8 to 5.9 range on the FKT. So if you're going to do this one, pay attention to that. Again, you're not going to miss it because there's no sign that says, hey, this is where the trail goes. You just have to watch for it. Unless I missed the sign even when I backtrack, but who knows. So you'll see that little fadangle, whatever you want to call it, spot on my FKT GPX file around mile 5. That's because I just missed the turn. I was trying to figure shit out. GPS is also not as accurate on the trail with the canyons. I know a couple times it says like I'm like 20 feet off or something like that, but I'm like running on like the worn trail. So you got to be cognizant of that a little bit as well. Especially in those like longer turns, shit like that. But then once I hit the last mile, like mile 5, which is actually like mile 1 too, I just started turning and burning because I knew I had it and I was more familiar with it. Plus it was more the dry section. And what was nice today is I was using my Pace Pro on Garmin. So like I would hit like mile 1, then maybe like 10 seconds later something, Pace Pro would come up and say, hey, you're this far under, like the next mile. I think I was 1.5 minutes in the first mile, then like 2 minutes. And at one point I was like 2:45 or 6. But then mile 4, I lost it down to like 2 minutes. I thought I was actually going to lose some on the uphill, but I guess I really didn't. Because I think my splits overall were pretty damn good. But where I lost time was the downhill today. It wasn't a technical downhill or rocky downhill, at least from what I could see, but it was also snow covered. But that's what slowed me down, is the snow and the slush on that downhill, because I'm trying to get going and my feet are just like sliding down, because you're running on, I don't want to say like a steep edge, but the way it's sloped. So like if you're watching this video, like as I'm like running towards you, the slope's like this way. So as I'm running down like towards you per se, my feet are like sliding off a little bit. I'm not getting good traction, so I couldn't run as fast in that downhill that you see on the map. If you look at the elevation chart, like that downhill, it was just like slushy today. So I just couldn't get going on that. So I probably lost 20-30 seconds in there. And then another 30-ish to a minute time on some of the other parts where it's actually snow covered, where I couldn't just go faster just because it's got like 4 inches of snow. It was definitely coming up over my gaiters and stuff, like around my ankle. So I did lose some time today, but I'm happy with the 5 minute under the FKT. I think this is number 8 that I have now. 5 for the year. My calves did get cold from like the slush and shit, the mud hitting the back of them a whole bunch. So there was that. So they did get a little bit cold, but it was probably also refreshing. I took some pictures of how mud covered they were. My ass was covered a little bit, but overall, I would say I had fun today. Got here late. It's almost dark now. It's 5:44. So I probably started at what, like 4:30-ish range. Because I took some pictures and I'm doing this, so I would say like 4:30, 4:45 is when I started. Actually, it had to be like 4:30 or 4:20. Either way, whatever. I did overheat a little bit in the first mile or two when I was really turning it on. And then after the hill, I sort of settled in and relaxed and recovered. And then I felt good after that. But of course, I didn't really warm up, as I haven't been. Gotta start doing that some more, because it seemed like I got too hot early on because my body went from a cold start to like a race mode without that warm up in between. So I was fighting that warm up, loosen up battle. But then again, once I settled into a rhythm a little bit, settled down, my body recovered, and then it was just like game on after that. So I don't know. It was a nice FKT. I love Ohio Powell. Plan on coming back down here a couple more times, attempting some other ones. So I'm just hitting the trails in general for some more training this year. The Gap Trail and the Warholland Hiking Trail, maybe Johnson Run or something just for fun. So we'll see. All right, I'm up here at the Sugarloaf Rec area. As you see, I guess that's where they sled ride and stuff at. I'm going to do the Upper Canyon's Edge to McCune Trail FKT. It's about a 10K, 800 feet. It's actually right over there's like where you start, and there's like a T real quick. There wasn't really a start point, so I'm just going to start, I guess, right here in the middle of the parking lot. Warm up here in a second, get going. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of colder than I was expecting. It was like 53 when I was on the way, but as you see, there's snow up here in the mountains. It's in the like maybe mid 40s, upper 40s. So I had to put a long sleeve on and dress a little warmer, but we'll see what happens. Not really feeling a speed workout today. So, all right, I'm 3 miles in. Well, 3:10 now. 25 minutes. 577 up, 118 down. Look at the conditions. They're wet and sloppy. Back there is completely snow covered. Sometimes you can follow people's footprints. Sometimes you can't, like this. Makes reading the trail a little bit easier. Sometimes there's no footprints and you can't see where you're stepping. You have to be careful like this. You really don't know what's underneath, like rocks and roots, little divots. We're getting done. I forget what I am. I'm like 2:45 under the pace. My goal pace was 55, which left me like a minute cushion. So, crushing it so far. Halfway there. Now it's time to get it done. Just like to see how this ran in the drier conditions. This is a nice downhill. Not really nice, but whatever. It's nice and slick, slushy, so your feet aren't getting stable. Kind of dangerous, but not too bad. Definitely gonna be slower in this section. Obviously, the sun didn't hit this side of the mountain good. Whew. This is about 5 miles in. A little double track, but snow covered. Getting it done though. I think I'm like 2.5 under right now again. I was down to like 2, but the straight stretch I'm doing it back up. Calves are definitely cold. from the snow and slush hitting me in the back. Whew, get it done. Just passing that church. Got about a 10th left. Whew. This has been a mixed bag of good and bad. Almost there. Here we go. Coming in. I should have the FKT by a minute or two. About another 100 yards, I think. Been nice if it was like this most of the way. Stop my watch. All right, looks like 51:27. That's definitely like 4 or 5 minutes. I think it's 5 minutes under the previous FKT. Hot damn. I definitely could have knocked a few more minutes off too in dry conditions, or it wasn't slipping down that mountain, and if I knew the trail. So whew. Not gonna no mud on my back. Definitely a wet and cold trail today, especially on the shady side of the mountain. But hey, mission accomplished, man. I think it's number 8. I have like 5 on the year, so keep plugging away at them and having fun doing my own thing this year and racing myself. Whew. There's a warming hut and a restroom, helicopter landing area in case somebody gets hurt on top of this. There's actually a whole, I don't know if you can see over there, extra overflow parking lot for people sledding. Whew. Nice little sled hill, I guess. All right, guess that's it.